Ryan, I don't know if your mic is working.
Ryan? Ryan?
Classic.
Yep. Still works better than Twitter audio.
Yeah, good point.
Man, that alone would have people in Passage Worlds just having a meeting where all the audio works.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna drop the agenda in chat. I think Ryan's gonna rejoin from his phone.
Sweet.
I'm here.
Gotcha, loud
Good.
and clear.
Oh, cool. My Brave browser just opened like 500 new tabs. I don't know what I did. If I had a button stuck or something. All right, I'm gonna drop this in chat. Here is our agenda. We've got a couple things in the open discussion section that we want to go over, but I'm gonna hand it off to Greg and Ryan to start on the marketplace front end because that's been like the core focus for the last few weeks.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Uh,
start, Ryan? Go ahead.
yeah, sure. Well, so Greg, first of all, Greg has just been putting in a tremendous amount of work on figuring out what the Node Fleet team needs and what's missing and organizing testing. So a huge thank you to him. We are tremendously close. We have kind of one more issue to fix that's already partway fixed, and we know the exact thing that has to get done. We're just working on getting that done. That is with marketplace fees being restructured, but without Greg, we wouldn't be anywhere near that point. So thank you very much to Greg. Um, so we worked with the CloudMost team to get the indexer fixed. There was an issue where um, items that had not been sold before were not being caught by the indexer. So the only things that were showing up in the marketplace were NFTs that had already been sold before and were listed again. So it was a very quick fix for them. It was the biggest issue was just diagnosing kind of how we got like what the actual problem was. Once we got it diagnosed, it was a pretty quick fix from them. We got that rebuilt and deployed, so that's all working. The last thing is just setting the transaction fees to be correct. I'm not entirely sure how they got out of whack, but they are set to 6 instead of 3%. We were able to change, I believe, Eggs and Theron Fang ourselves, but the other collections just have a different admin set. They are set to Vitwit as the admin from um, when they did the initial migration. So they just need to make us the admin or make these changes on their end. But we prefer to have them switch the admin just so that we're not reliant on them doing anything else in the future. It just makes more sense to get that all transitioned over, which should be quick. We just have to get the ask to them and just monitor that request and make sure they get that done. Once that's done, it's about 5 minutes to get that fixed. And then, as far as I know, we are ready for testers to really come in and tell us what's wrong with it and figure out kind of what next steps are there. But we are genuinely tremendously close. We're at the finish line. We know exactly what has to get done, and the harder problem is solved now. So now we're on to the simpler problem just to get those transaction fees right. So that's the update on the marketplace.
Yeah, so I had alpha testers hop in yesterday and start testing. I was testing as well. I found 6 minor bugs. Adrian from Node Fleet is already working on fixing those, and he's been fantastic, like very enthusiastic about fixing and working on anything that we throw at him. So if you're an alpha tester, please hop into the marketplace, test it out, mess around with the filters, look at the different options for filters. You can mint NFTs, buy NFTs. Everything's fully functional, which is important to remember. Although this is the test version of the marketplace, there's no test chain. This is live. So if you do anything, it will spend your money or sell your NFTs.
Yeah.
And so far, things are working great. It's a little slow because we're running on test servers, which should pick up once it's moved over. So just remember the slowness is not a feature. And yeah, anything that you see that you think is wrong, just drop it in the alpha chat, and I'll write up issues for those.
And for anybody who, because obviously we have a small group here, so we don't expect this to be the bulk of testers. But if you see people complaining about issues, that is totally fine. But we do want to also make sure that they understand that they need to be reporting these things. I think a lot of folks don't understand kind of the nature of an alpha or a beta or kind of what they're expected to do. But you know, in the world that we live in, a lot of stuff gets kind of released as early access, and it's the expectation is that it's fully functioning and not that it's going to have bugs. We fully expect this to have bugs, and we just want to make sure that if people are using it and they're having issues, that's totally fine. But we want to make sure they understand that they need to report them in order for them to get fixed, instead of like through the proper channels, rather than just stating, "Hey, I'm having this issue. I hate this," et cetera, et cetera. You know, we just want to make sure they understand that, like, hey, we want to fix these things. We can't fix them unless they are kind of reported in the proper channels, and it can't be a thing that is just on Greg to write down what everybody says. We need individuals to report the bugs they're experiencing.
Yep. And if there's anybody that's on here or that listens to this recording after, if you're interested in testing out the marketplace, let me know and I'll give you the alpha tester role and point you at the posting that has the info, and you can go test it out. That's all I got.
Awesome.
Yee.
Thank you guys so much for all of your work on that. I think the next few things go kind of hand in hand. We're working on getting this initial release of the marketplace out. And then some of the other projects that have still been open-ended and pending are the NFT staking front end, the NFT collection creation front end, and IBC Atom payments. So I don't know, Ryan, if you want to add anything there. I know James is in a call as well, if we want to invite him on.
Sorry, I just had a really loud noise next to me. Sorry, were you asking something of me?
Yeah, so the remaining kind of open items that are on our project priorities list are the NFT staking front end, the NFT collection creation front end, and then IBC Atom payments.
Yeah, so we need to look into the Atom payments and just see if we can kind of get that into the next round. I don't believe it's in the current iteration that we're launching with, but the work has been done. It just needs to be merged in, I believe. And then for the other two, I know that we have James in here, so I don't know if do we not have James anymore? Oh, James dropped out. Oh no, James is sorry, he's on stage. He's on stage. Yeah, so James can give updates there if he wants to.
Yeah, Jim everyone, Jim Ryan, Jim BK, and Jim Lex. So based on what we have been doing so far and what we have done so far, so we are majorly focused on building out the UI, right? For the NFT staking front end, it's done on our end, right? It's with the code base with Andre that Andre is working with, and I think for the integration part of it, you guys are still keeping us pending, right? Because we need to know how we can be able to test the test net first before we can be able to use real money to know what we have done and whether everything is working as expected before we can push up to production, right? And same applies to the NFT creation portal too. So we are majorly focused on implementing the UIs, which it's in progress now. So hoping to wrap up before this month ends and send it out to the team to view. That's for the NFT creation portal to look at it and give us review on it. Then if there's a integration details that we need to integrate on the application, you guys can give us other stuff to do that.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
I think that we do need to get testnet up and running. Although I know that it's easy to do. So if you guys are able to do it yourselves, then great. But I know that that is a thing you've asked us for, and Mike has just been super heads down on a bunch of other stuff to get that up and running. But yeah, now that we're close to having the kind of first version of the marketplace out, I think we can turn our focus on this front to these newer additional features that luckily are are basically done as far as code goes, which is nice. It means that we'll be able to move faster towards new updates.
All right, awesome. We'll be looking forward to it.
Sweet.
All right, do we have anything else on the current list of projects? Otherwise, we can jump into the next section.
Nope, I'm good.
Cool. So just a minor thing, you might have seen that yesterday a new governance proposal went up. This isn't specifically related to open source, but just as an FYI, there was a governance proposal to burn the remaining 25 million-ish tokens from the Strange Clan airdrop. So anything that wasn't claimed or allocated as part of the airdrop initial drop or the bonus drop. So if you haven't voted on that, please do. It's in the announcements channel. And then I wanted to open the floor for a conversation about NFT staking incentives, as that is one of our current projects that we're focused on. We've been in conversation with the MetaWawa community about a potential, incentive or airdrop for their users, and we think that NFT staking would make the most sense as a mechanic to move that forward. So I just wanted to bring it to the table if people have thoughts. Lex, I know you have some thoughts that we talked about yesterday. So
Yeah,
open the floor.
basically, yeah, I love the idea of rewarding any of the communities that have been holding on the Passage platform, right? So for anybody who has Passage NFTs, been trading in Passage tokens, I'd love to use the remaining airdrop tokens to just incentivize those people and continue to build the community around the marketplace. So I would love to move forward and discuss with the community basically the idea of setting up our first NFT staking incentive. Obviously, we have community specific incentives like for Strange Clan with the egg drop and the egg staking setup, but there can be other mechanisms, right? There could be other staking incentives that are more broad, and I love the idea that basically anybody staking a Passage NFT, so we'd give the opportunity for essentially anybody in those communities to kind of double down and say, okay, I'll stake my NFT for a share in the remaining airdrop pool. Something along those lines. Super open to how that gets implemented. Could we have two stages of that, where the first one goes entirely to the existing collections, and then the second stage goes to existing collections and the set of new collections that are coming in with the updates to the marketplace, like the Glitch Candies NFTs and some other communities that'll be joining us. Then again, lots of unique options, but would love to use those resources to incentivize and to reward folks who have already proven to be strong holders. So oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, so Meyer says and show up in GM Tidings. I'm super open to taking a chunk of those and just allocating them towards Tidings drops as well. I love that. We're also working on some gamification tools that are kind of easily applicable to different Passage worlds. So obviously we have like the trivia, and that could be dropped into different Passage worlds, but some other like almost more basic gamification functionality. One of which would be like a scavenger hunt system where people could just pick some locations, drop in some items, and quickly set up a scavenger hunt in a Passage world for people to interact with, during a community event. And we could have first person to collect all the pieces gets the drop. But one way or the other, super open to other ideas as well. But yes, people who are still showing up in the community and people who are participating on chain, we very much want to incentivize. And this was something that the Wawa team had asked about specifically, and we want to basically just say yes, in any way that we can, and give everyone who's committed to the Passage ecosystem the chance to kind of double down. So. We can also just resurface this. We can have this. We'll have this in the notes, obviously, but we can resurface this with the community as we go forward. Just wanted to bring that up for the open source community as well.
I have ideas, but I'll have to type them up.
Please, I'd love that. Yeah, we could definitely put something more formal together for sure.
Yeah, what I'd ideally like to see happen is have the community ideate together and eventually put it up for a governance proposal on how this works, so that we're kind of in larger agreement on how things are being used. There is like still 100 million tokens left in that pool, so it's not a small chunk. So it doesn't mean we have to use all of them either, but to start thinking about how we're allocating those because we haven't at this point would be great.
Yep.
Well, those are the main things I had this week. Ryan, Greg, is there anything else that you guys wanted to go over?
I don't think so. If you end up needing me to work on any of the other initiatives that in the same way to just facilitate communication and direction, just let me know.
Sweet.
Really appreciate that. Well, thank you again for all of your work. Thank you, James, and everybody else. And let's get this marketplace live.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
All right, cheers, everybody.
Peace. Stay Dragon, fam.